What up, what up? Welcome to the Crown of Stitch podcast. My name is Nick Engvall. I'm with my guy Dexter to talk about some fitteds. We're going to get into a little bit of, let's call this the evolution of fonts or the evolution of hat logos. Because if you're not really paying attention or if you're not digging in deep into hats, sometimes you can miss the little minor tweaks that happen from year to year, from collection to collection. So we want to get into the nitty gritty with this one. But we're gonna share some too that we have with us, so it'll be a fun one. But before we get into that, what's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I got my Keith Remembrance white tee on. He's out there on the baseball or the softball diamond, getting his Will Clark JT Snow on right now. You know.
Yep. Me too. Yeah. Actually, we should talk a little bit about that. It's kind of dope. As a Giants fan, there's probably. I really am bummed that I didn't get to go to the Will Clark ceremony this weekend because, you know, we've talked about him on the pod before. He's one of those guys that we looked up to growing up and just, man, absolutely beautiful swing. And to be honest, like, he came from an era where the logo was actually probably the most simple. The Giants logo, the SF, was the most simple it ever was back then. You know, it didn't have the character that it has now, let's say. But we'll get into that in a minute. But I was going to say it was cool that they actually, you know, postponed that for 2 years to get to this point and have that jersey number retirement ceremony, whatever, and, you know, put it up in the park. And I thought it was really dope that they did postpone it because, one, like, he is, you know, absolutely, you know, everybody thinks of Barry Bonds, but if you're a Giants fan, like, you know, Jack Clark, Will Clark, Chili Davis, Candy Maldonado, that 80s crew was like the start of the battles with Mark McGwire and Jose Canseco across the bay, right? Like, before we got to the World Series, before both sides grew into the World Series, we watched these kids come up. You know, I mean, we were all little kids then too, but they were so young and so just fresh and excited and, you know, just playing the game like intensely. And it was really cool that they actually postponed that for a couple of years due to the pandemic and stuff, because I think, one, Will Clark is now on social media. He's now I forget what the official title is, but he works for the team as an ambassador, essentially, is kind of like an experienced voice in the team for the Giants. And I think that's such a cool thing to do. And a lot of teams do that in Major League Baseball. And honestly, I would love to see that in other sports. I think that, like, you know, as a Kings fan, you know, it would be dope to see Chris Webber involved with the team more regularly. It would be dope to see Jason Williams or Mike Bibby or any of those guys take a more public position as, like, you know, genuine fans of the team and the organization, because it allows the younger generation, the older generation, and everyone in between to stay connected. And I say that because it really kind of got me, you know, if you follow sneaker history, you probably follow my friend Andrew, his Sneaker Preservation Society, and he and I are massive Will Clark fans going way back. We've been talking about, you know, we text each other through the ceremony and just, you know, it kind of got me thinking, like, what's the next generation have? Because my nephew is, you know, 10, right? And he became a Kings fan during the DeMarcus Cousins era. But, you know, like, it was devastating. He was crying when DeMarcus Cousins left the Kings, you know, because that was his first true, like, superstar to look up to. And, you know, I mean, that's always going to happen in today's game, no matter what sport you're in. But I just thought it was really interesting that they were able to kind of bring Will Clark back into the team and not only educate the next generation on where they came from and who was there for those, you know, crazy runs, but also, we've talked about it, right? The Greg Maddux Grand Slam in the playoffs, you know, it was like, you know, I mean, I'll let you talk about it because you brought it up before, but yeah, like, it changed the sport. That game, that pitch changed the sport.
Yeah, so I was at work and I couldn't watch it. I saw some clips. I saw some pictures on Twitter. And I saw, that they had a lot of the other greats out there. And it seems like, I mean, the Giants, I don't know if they were the first to do it. I know the Yankees do this. But on the West Coast, for sure, the Giants are the leader when it comes to keeping their old guys around and making sure they got a paycheck and keeping them, close to the new, stuff. Like, because let's just say you're younger than me. You don't have old baseball cards, and you don't have, the knowledge of who Willie McCovey and Willie Mays are, and all these old guys, But the Giants keep them around. They keep a job for them. Obviously they're past and everything, but same thing with the Will Clarks of the day. Like they weren't making hundreds of millions of dollars contract. So like I don't know if they'll still have like Buster and the Brandons will still be around unless they're coaching, just to be in that ambassador role, whatever you're actually doing. I mean, pretty much you're just being around the new crew, and you're showing your face. You're there, you're helping out whenever you can. You're at batting practice, and then stuff like this. They have all the OGs come out. It's super dope. But like Will Clark, but between McCovey and Will Clark, which is probably a good at least 15, 20 years, it was pretty bleak, especially at first base. But like now we have the JT Snows, and then we had who else we have at JT Snow? I know Brandon Belt is like the fixture now. But it was pretty bleak, when we were talking about those basic SF logo Giants jerseys of the 80s, and then they had the orange jerseys and they had the pullovers and everything. It was pretty ugly, but in between there, until Will Clark came and brought some prominence back to the Bay.
Yeah, definitely, man. And it's one of those things too, because it did. It seems we remember the wins, right? We remember those big moments, but there was a good 2, 3, 4 years leading up to 89, 88, 89, 90 when they were really competitive, where the team was in rough shape,
Yeah.
But I was going to say too, for people that don't know, that moment I was mentioning about Greg Maddux, right? 89 World Series or 89 NLCS National League Championship Series in Chicago. Will Clark is up to bat. The bases are loaded. The Giants are down by 2, I want to say. And essentially, we're watching on TV, and you see Greg Maddux say, I'm going to go with a fastball. And Will Clark saw the same thing being on the diamond and just rips one out to right field in Wrigley.
Exactly what's coming,
He knows exactly what's coming, and he just crushes it. And I think, well, for sure, that moment, he talked about it after that, and it's kind of been like it's one of those just baseball stories that will get passed on for generations, most likely, because from that moment, now when you see a pitcher and a coach and a team on the mound talking, everybody's got the glove over their face because of that moment, basically. It forever shifted the way that communication happened. And obviously now we got, I don't know if it's going back in time, but it seems like we got beepers and recorders and all this shit on the mound and trying to stuff stuff in your hat now this year. And people can't talk. It's just, I get it. A lot of sign stealing going on out there as a baseball fan. I understand it. So
Astros messed it up too, man, with, banging on the trash cans.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah,
nothing's sacred anymore. But I mean, that's part of the game.
Totally. And it's interesting because we talked a little bit about it before, baseball, as much as I love it and I nerd out about it. And I want to talk about where the next pitch is at. I want to talk about within inches of where the pitch is going to be, the strategy behind it. That's just the nerdiness for me. But it's not bringing in new fans because there's not excitement the way other sports have it, so it's, I'm glad that these changes happen. Obviously some things you end up missing down the road. Some things are for the better, but, I think that's a good, just a good jumping off point though, because the Giants logo back then, and we're not really talking about script logos with the team spelled out, right? We're talking about I'm wearing this old New York Giants hat with the Polo Grounds logo on the side. We're just really talking about the lettered logos and the variations that come on this episode. But before I get into that, actually, let's read a review because we got a couple of reviews. If you haven't left us a review over on Apple Podcasts, definitely do so. The link will be in the description wherever you're taking this in. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. Help us out. We're trying to grow this. We're almost to 100 subscribers on the channel, and it'd be nice because then we can do a little bit more here and there. So
talk to us. We talk.
Let us know what you think. Exactly. So MLP, who is one of our big supporters from the Discord, basically left a review that said, I've been wearing caps my whole life, but the whole industry has changed since it first started. The Crown of Stitch crew helps put it all into perspective for me. They're popping off with information about a whole new world of colors, styles, and drops. The information they're filling your head with will make you go up a cap size. At least by listening, you'll know what to get, where to get it, and when to get it. So shout out to MLP. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for supporting everything we do. It really means the world to me. And yeah, we're just trying to fill your heads full of knowledge. We're trying to get you that Bochi size. We want to get you to that 8 1/4.
That's right. Fill that brain up with nothing but knowledge. Hat won't even fit anymore. That's right.
Oh man. So before I start getting into these Giants logos that I got next to me, why don't you tell them what you're rocking today?
Oh, so if you watched the last episode, I was talking about all the ugly logos, and I started off with the 2 Tigers logos where it's a drawing of a tiger, and one of them is kindergarten style, and the other one is like he's on some substances, tiger, poor guy. Got a little too much tranquilizer. This is about the same time as that 1927 super ugly kindergarten logo. This is what they probably wore on the field with just a basic D, and then that tiger was probably on a jacket or a sleeve or on a program if you went to the stadium or something like that. They didn't wear the logos like that on their hats, but yeah.
Yeah, that logo is bananas. And I think like there's just beauty in the simplicity of it, right? Like sometimes just gets to be too much to have all of the extras that come along with the evolution of logos. So not to like knock this Detroit logo, right? But like this is about as iconic of a logo as it gets, right?
Exactly. It's the evolution we're talking about here. We had this very basic white here D, and then you have the superscript with all the what do you call all those little extra little bits on the side?
I forget. I think it's serifs.
Yeah,
technically.
There we go. Yeah.
But it's one of those. Yeah. Yes, exactly. But it's interesting, right? Because to a certain point, it's great, right? Like this logo has been essentially knocked off from every corner of the world, right? You've got you've got Fear of God, Benny Gold, you've got like Undefeated, you've got all these like streetwear brands that have knocked it off.
Yeah, maybe other baseball teams who've knocked them off.
Baseball teams have knocked it off. The Birmingham Barons being one of them, right? Like their B is directly off of the design of the Detroit logo. Not that it doesn't look dope. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where when you get a good font and you get a good look, you might as well, right? But and I don't mean that not knocking it off in a bad way. I think like for some of that stuff, like that's how these logos become like kind of legendary, right? It makes me think of like a lot of the skate brands, right? Like a lot of skate and a lot of hip hop brands will take an SF logo and turn it into, a variation, or take an LA logo and turn it into a variation, an NYC or an NY logo. And it's like, there's so many ways you can spin that. And I think that also helps drive back to the original kind of concept that we're talking about here. But with the Giants, for instance, first, I was going to show this one because the Giants obviously started in New York, which is this hat. This is I want to say the 50s is this one. Sorry, this is a little bit older, like the 40s, I want to say, and then the patches from the 60s. But this is the Giants logo from New York in the 60s, which is, not like crazy different, but obviously cleaned up, kind of brought in a little bit tighter of a design.
Yeah, way tighter.
And And like, you know, the Mets logos now are a variation of this that are just even more condensed and more compact. So that's kind of the start of that conversation. But I think with when they came to the West Coast, I forgot to bring that flat logo, but this is basically it, right? Like this is a 49er version of the Giants, or 49er colorway. I forget what this pack was called. This is from a couple years back from Hat Club, but basically no changes, you know, no little extras on there, no serifs, right? It's essentially just a basic S and an F.
It's almost like this D I have, but not as broad.
Yep, exactly. And that's very much like, for us as Giants fans, that's very much like 80s baseball. Like this is kind of the vibe. The logo before was actually a little bit thinner. And if you go watch the last episode, my latest pickup prior to this episode was the Anchor Steam beer pack from Hat Club, and that logo is flat and even a little bit thinner on top of it, right? So it takes it in just a tiny bit more. And as they go, it just continues to evolve, right? Like this is kind of like a fatter. Yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, that's a good one.
58 to 72, and you keep rotating.
Yeah,
and we
so
have
that's this guy.
And we have nope. 73 to 76, and then there's 77 to 82, and then we start getting into the one you have, 83 to 93.
Yep.
Only 1 year. This is the Bonds. Forget about it. I'm hitting everything out the park logo.
Yep.
And then finally, the one we have today, 94 to now.
Yeah, they actually went back to that one after it went away for a couple of years. So that's another interesting thing I was going to bring up, and I want to ask you what you think about it. So this is a Warriors, you know, like pack from Hat Club, essentially, where they just this Batterman is pretty dope. But Warriors jersey colors, but they add that extra layer on. So this technically would be like the 01 to 02 logo year. But I don't think that people think of it that way now. And if I'm being brutally honest, this is like my least favorite Giants logo, because I like the way that it adds depth to the logo in certain instances.
Yeah.
But I also just love the simplicity of a single color on it. And it's interesting because that too has become a platform for people to change and, you know, make their own custom and make their own versions. And, you know, Hat Club, Topper Store, Lids, all these companies are dropping fitteds and using that because it gives them one more color to tie into that logo. So how do you feel about like that evolution, and where do you land on terms of like your favorites?
Okay, so I agree with you 100% on that. I personally, this is my favorite Giants logo. This is one of my favorite logos, period. But that one with the extra layers on the back, you're right. If you're doing these crazy collections and packs where you need the extra colors, then that's perfect for it. But that hat by itself, it's too much. It's just, you know, like we were talking about how they have all these City Connect jerseys where it's just you're doing so much crazy shit. Like, I like the simplicity. I may sound old, but whatever, fine. Like, give me just that, you know, that cream jersey with the numbers, no name on the back, you know. I want the same thing with the hat logo, just black hat. You can throw an orange bill in there, that's fine, but just a white logo or whatever color variation, like your Niners one right there, right? It still has all the colors, but it still has that simple 80s Giants logo. That's where I'm rocking.
Yes, and that's usually how I am. And I was actually trying to find one of my A's hats to show, but like I'm sure you got one back there. But the A's logo is actually slightly different to me because it actually doesn't. So this logo without the background color is super complicated, right? Like there's so many points on it that adding another color just makes it look like it takes away, you know,
from the
people
detail.
aren't going to know what you're rocking from you know, down the street in a lot of times. But I think with the A's logo, I don't know what era it is, but like the A's did like black hats with a green logo with a white background or white surround for a little while. And then like, obviously there's variations of that from the hat clubs of the world. But
Yeah.
But that's like one of my favorites because it like accentuates the actual logo itself. It makes it just pop off the hat that much more. But I don't know. It's interesting because I think the Giants logo is like, it's like almost, and maybe it's just me being super fan, you know, I'm just like, don't mess with it. It's good. Yeah. But adding that background almost like complicates it too much to make it as enjoyable as it could be. It's kind of like if you listen to our side patches episode, like this is obviously like one of my favorite. I wear this all the time. It's sweat stains and all on here, but this logo is the 61 All-Star game. But you can't even see that because it's gold on white and the colors don't, you know, it's so like it's super dope. But because the colors aren't like contrasting enough and it's so small and the details are kind of like almost like washed out because there's so much going on with it, it makes it hard to really recognize what it is from, you know, unless you've got it in hand, right? And that's one thing that I always kind of come back to with like the way these logos are presented is, you know, if they could keep from going too far down that path, if they've already evolved and the hat, you know, the logo has turned into something that's got a little bit more to it, you know, then, you know, you just don't need the duplicates. Like the old New York's, you don't need anything else. The same with the Mets, you know, like you don't need anything else. You don't need more layers to that. Sometimes you want to wear something crazy and like you could go, I've seen people customize it where you've got like 2, 3, 4 layers deep on that embroidery. And I think, you know, it's not for me. It's a cool way to like express yourself, but it just takes away from the beauty of some of these logos that I think are so perfect to begin with.
Exactly. So speaking of, I'm gonna drop a couple of my we've done Giants, you guys are good, done your job. But a couple of my favorite of these scripts, we're talking about A's, so let's go with the Kansas City A's. I know I wear this hat pretty often, but
oh yeah,
look at that. I mean, that's like, it's got the little serifs, as you say, but they're not crazy, you know.
Yep.
It's just like perfectly detailed. So this is the Kansas City Athletics right here before they were the Kansas City Royals. And to me, it's just clean. It's perfect. It looks old school, but it doesn't look like, you know, dated, you know. It's just a perfect combination of all of that. And then it's probably the most classic of hip hop baseball logos. But just that White Sox, you know, the S with that little extra little. That's just, it's kind of like what I was talking about with the Dodgers. I mean, not Dodgers, the Detroit Tigers. God, strike my soul. I said Dodgers, my God. But look, it's just, it's perfect. Like you see this logo, you know exactly what the hat is, you know?
Yeah.
And they don't need to touch that. That thing's done. Never again.
Yep. That's one of my favorites of all time, by far.
If there comes a time where somebody in the office is like, hey, I think we need to update somebody needs to just slap right there. Just no. Never. No. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So outside of like the ones we mentioned, you know, Mets, Yankees, kind of standard, Sox, Giants, A's, obviously as you know, fans of Bay Area sports, hard for us to not just get stuck up on all of those and get into the nitty gritty with it. But what are the other? You mentioned Detroit, obviously. What are some of the other kind of letter logos that you can think of? You know, how do you feel about like the Cardinals, for instance? Is it Cardinals? You know, like because
it's okay, and like there was a St. Louis Browns team back in the day that was like probably the worst baseball team in history, and they are now the Baltimore Orioles. But I like their STL better than the Cardinals. I don't know if that's just because it's rare and I wasn't alive for any of that, but you know, it's okay. It's standard. I hate the team, but like the logo, it's all right. I tell you, the ones I really don't like is San Diego, that SD, that Dookie Brown we talked about, and Tampa Bay. It's like Tampa Bay. It's like you might as well just put the Ray on there because that TB just looks. It looks hungry. It just looks like it's missing something.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you don't like the Padres logo. On the Sneaker History podcast, if you ever listen, I can't stand brown shoes. Like I don't want any brown shoes. I don't care
What
if
about
they're
Timberlands?
like. No, I don't fuck with Timberlands at all, man. Like I lived in New York for 2 years and I never wore boots. Give me some Jordan 3s and I'll make it through the winter.
Oh man!
But don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it like you could wear them, but for me, like I don't. It's not my thing at all. But the Padres logos, other than the years that they had the yellow and the orange, like I actually really like the brown and the orange on the Padres stuff. Like that was one of my favorite kind of the early, not the earliest Tony Gwynn era, but like the like, like 3 or 4 years into the league Tony Gwynn era where they switched right before they got to like, basically the Navy that they're basically at now. Right. And I don't know why, because I don't like the color brown on anything at all, hardly. But for some reason, that logo with just the orange on it, I mean, orange is still my favorite color, so I pretty much would be okay with it on any other background color. But I don't know. It's one of those things that I definitely I would have never thought that I would like that as much as I do, but I actually really like that. And the SD is super simple, so I'm not mad at it at all. I think it's one of those things where like they just had it simple and they hadn't messed it up the way like a lot of teams would experiment with it and change it. And how many times have we've only done maybe 15 episodes of this show, and I would say every 2-3 episodes we're talking about a team that like botched their logo. They're like, oh, let's move away from something, only to go back to it 5 years later. So.
See, I feel like that's them. That's San Diego. Like they were brown and yellow, which is a terrible combination. And I felt like they were like, man, let's try to be like the Giants a little bit and throw some orange on this brown. It's like, oh, get away from the brown, period. Or do like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel like brown is like, what other team has ever had a brown except the Browns, the St. Louis Browns and the Cleveland Browns? What other team is like, you know what? We're going to go brown as our color.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I actually like about it though. It's different, like it's
okay.
I mean, we could get into the Cleveland Browns. Like, I don't even understand how Cleveland Browns becomes the dog pound and all of that stuff. So that's a whole other can of worms that we'll save for another conversation. But
that's way
team
too deep
nicknames,
and depressing
man.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But all right. So let us know what your favorite letter logos are, the favorite evolutions, maybe any of those things. Drop a comment if you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, and hit that link. Join us in the Discord. Let's chop it up in between these episodes, and we'll get to know you. Maybe you'll be on the show with us, and we'll chop it up with you on the show someday.
There we go.
But before we bounce, what do you want to do? We got rocking it. We got kicks and fits. I almost said rocking and copping, but I do have that. And then I got a box sitting here that I haven't opened, so I don't know what's in it. And I could open it.
All right, let's end with the unboxing. For that. Let's just do the kicks and fits first. You ready with yours?
All right. I can be. You ready? You can go start.
Okay, I'll do it. All right. So, fitted hat. Going back to that A's, just classic script. We're talking about this logo right here. Now, this is actually the 84 Giants A's crossover. I also got Bart doing the moon over here. But so since it has the Giants orange on there and it's red, it's green, I thought to mix it up with the Nike Air Tailwind Stranger Things.
Oh, nice. Here. Yeah.
Because it has the orange, It has the...
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, That's what I got.
Good call. Good call. All right, so I got... This is one I've been wanting to talk about because if you watch, you could see it behind me here, too. But I need to find a new pair of these. This is the Barry Sanders Zoom Turf, but this is the Michael Schumacher version from like 97. They made a retro a few years back. This one you could see is kind of just falling apart. I can't really do much with it at this point as far as wearing it, but
displays.
And because I broke out this one,
yeah,
Niners.
Yeah, that's almost like a Deion Sanders combo right there.
It feels like it. Yeah, it feels like a Deion shoe. That's what I was gonna say. But if you got a size 13 or know somebody that has one, definitely hit me up. I'm definitely down. Scoop a new pair. But what You got any new pickups? You want to talk about a new pickup, or you want me to just rip this box open?
I got a new pickup.
Can you tell I'm waiting to whip? Can you tell I'm waiting to rip this box open? I realized that I hadn't opened it yet, and I was like, "What the hell did I buy?"
I got this Seattle Mariners cool fashion
Nice.
NBA. It's got the Mariners with the Supersonics colors. You know, got this from Hat Club.
That is fire.
Yeah, I had to grab one. I was like, and you know, recently they've been having some of those hats have just been sitting there. I was like, oh, okay, maybe these young kids are onto the new fad. That's perfect for me.
Right? Yep. I saw those too, and I was like, I gotta be smart about my spending. That said, I also am about to rip this open, and I don't remember what I got. So how smart am I really being?
The PayPal paying for it comes through in the clutch. I'm like, oh, cool. I ain't got to spend this whole $55 today. Cool. Here's 12.
Exactly. Yep. You know what's funny too is like I always like when I have PayPal money, it's almost like fake money. It's like, oh, it's in my PayPal, so I don't even got to think about it like being real and coming out of the main account. You know, like so I always justify all that shit with ridiculous things in my head of why I don't need to hold back. But so this is actually from Topper's store.
Love Topper's store.
I don't remember. Oh, okay. I remember this. Yeah, this is great. Got something on there, but oh shit. Hang on. I gotta get the card out of here. Speaking of those Rays hats, get the Elliott Johnson card here.
Who the hell is Elliott Johnson?
TB logo.
This is my last Topper store card right here.
Versatility.
Cliff Ford.
Damn, that's an old school.
Yeah, this is
Elliott Johnson rookie card.
89 or 1990.
This is a 2008 for me, but so this is
Oh, it's that San Jose. No, San Francisco Seals, right?
Yeah, San Francisco Seals in the Giants colors. Shout out to Joe from the Discord for hitting me up and letting me know that they restocked this one because I missed my size the first time around. But yeah, super dope. I mean, I'm getting like super obsessed over the variations in the Giants logos throughout the SF logos throughout the years. Obviously,
and isn't this perfect that this is the episode that you bust that out for?
But yeah, it's great. Yeah, but yeah, man, this is a good one. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's kind of like one of those unspoken collector things when it comes to fitteds, right? Like, just going after all the variations of like your core colors team. You know, and we'll get into that in a future episode probably because I feel like I probably might have stepped on some toes in the way that I was trying to explain that before with like the Greenville Reds or, you know, even like the Tampa Bay minor league teams have like just the TB with a new, with a new team name or whatever. But to me, you know, I'm nerding out about it too. Like black and orange San Jose Giants, black and orange Sacramento River Cats. I've tried to get the black and orange Richmond Flying Squirrels, but they sold out of my size. Literally ordered it, and they canceled my order.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Damn.
So they just didn't have that in stock, apparently, but maybe I'll get it on the secondary market somehow. But, yeah, it's one of those things. San Francisco Seals, that's what? That's like 20s, 30s?
Well, I mean... No,
Seal Stadium, it runs
Seal
before
Stadium,
up to 54, basically.
Yeah, when they first got here, they played Seal Stadium. My aunt always tells me how when they first got here and like Seal Stadium was there for like a pretty decent time, even after they moved on to Candlestick, and then like it was just pretty dope. Like I have that hat, but I have the blue and white, which I guess was their original colors. And then I have the Negro League seals with just like that seal on the logo on there, and I think that's blue and orange. Yeah. But yeah, they like Pokemon, man. Got to catch them all.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. What's the name of that jersey company? It's not Mitchell and Ness, but it's like the other kind of nostalgia jersey company. You know what I'm talking about? They actually made a Seals jersey a few years back, and I kicked myself because I didn't grab it.
I bet you if I do a real quick search, I'll bet if I look for San Francisco, Ebbets, there you go.
Right?
Yeah, and their shit's like wool.
Yeah, it is it's like real old school on field stuff.
Yeah.
Which props to all those guys that played baseball back in the day, because I'm not capable of playing. It's hard enough to play in the new stuff, man. Oh, I'm a wuss when it comes to overheating.
Man, wool flannel with the felt numbers on there. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Blue and white was their colors.
Yeah. It's cool that we,
retros.
Speaking of all the evolution, right? It's cool that we got away from that, like, heavy wool, heavy patches. Got more modernized with the.
I mean, you say that, but I feel like it made them tougher back then. You know.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Doing a double header. There's no such thing as night games. You're out there with a big wool sweater on, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man.
Yep. Not to mention they probably all flashed up. They all got a little something in the back pocket.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not chewing tobacco.
Well, they're chewing tobacco and they're sipping something too. Yeah.
Yeah.
At 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Waking up.
Oh man.
Cool, man. Well, hey, that's a pretty good episode. Anything else you got to share with the folks before we get out of here?
Nope. Squatchy Gang, man. I got an orange one on today. If you're on the YouTube, if you're on the
I'm just imagining
Apple Podcast with the reviews, just put that hashtag Squatchy Gang on there, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
And also, you can find me
thing popping.
smooth as eggs on everything. Also, I do the industry special. I got a couple days off work, so I'm gonna do a couple of them too. And come check us out over there. Sneaker History Discord is where we do all the talking. So come find us.
Yes, sir. You can find me at Nick Engvall on all the platforms. More importantly, make sure you follow at Crown and Stitch everywhere. We're up to 120 something on the Instagram, so we got some people connecting with us over there. Hopefully we can get the Twitter going as well, and get that YouTube number going up. Yep. So appreciate all of you for rocking with us, listening. Definitely hit us up. We're not, talk back. It's not that hard. We ain't trying
Drink the coconut water. Stay hydrated, people.
Exactly. Thanks for rocking with us. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace. Squatchy Gang.